Hey everybody, today we've got a hypothetical matchup between Governor of Massachusetts Maura Healey for the Democrats up against Governor of Wyoming Mark Gordon for the Republicans. And this was suggested to me a while back in the comments. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this one because these aren't the two most well-known governors. I don't know everything about them, and what ended up happening was I made the whole video already, but due to some technical issues, I lost the whole thing, so I'm making it again, but this time to speed things up, I'm going to just fill out the map and talk a little bit about it. So Mark Gordon is from a fairly inconsequential and low-populated state, but his popularity has been pretty high. He's in his second term as governor, but I would say he's on the more establishment side of the Republican Party. Trump did not endorse him when he first ran back in 2018, and I'm assuming he gets his name recognition up to run a national campaign. Now, Maura Healey, she is from a more consequential state. She seems relatively popular as well, not as much as Charlie Baker used to be, and I'm not even sure if there is significant difference between Baker and Healey. I know Healey was part of some tax cuts, and she's got a lot more of the migrant crisis to deal with, so she's also going to have to get her name recognition up, but she's a Democrat in a deep blue state that might be a little bit too much for some of the voters in the middle. So on the map, I do have Mark Gordon narrowly picking up Nevada. Since he's closer to the establishment, he's able to win Arizona by at least 1 or 2 points. Even Nebraska's second. I think that district looks for moderates. In this matchup, Gordon is going to be considered more moderate. I don't think Iowa gets over 10. I think Colorado would stay over 10. Healey would get out enough of the progressive voters around the Denver area. But the Rust Belt, those are the hardest states. I have them all at tilt margins. In Wisconsin, I think Healey would do well in Dane County, but I think Mark Gordon would be able to hold his own. In the suburbs, he would do well enough to be able to hold it by a tilt. Georgia, I think, goes back toward the Republicans. Up in the Northeast, I think Maine's second goes to Gordon by a likely margin. Healey is just going to be viewed as too far to the left there. New Hampshire, I think, is competitive. It does border Massachusetts, so I had to give that one to Healey by a low, lean margin. Virginia is probably going to be 5 to 6 points for Healey. And down in Florida, that's also probably going to be mid-single digits for Gordon. So when it's all said and done, Mark Gordon comes out with 279 electoral votes. Maura Healey pulls in 259. So Gordon is able to win it, but it is competitive enough to where Maura Healey could win. It's hard to say if both of them would focus on igniting their bases or if they would pivot toward the center and go for voters in the middle. So I assume a lot of regional and political polarization will kick in, but maybe the biggest bellwether would be a place like the Atlanta suburbs. They're open to a Republican if it's not a Trump Republican, and I think Gordon would do better than Healey there. I think economics are going to be better for Maura Healey, but I think if she leans into social justice or identity politics on the left, that's going to be an area that Mark Gordon does better in. Of course, there's all the other issues out there. Some of them are going to favor Gordon, some of them are going to favor Healey. It's hard to know how they would run their campaigns, but in this matchup, I'm going to assume that Gordon does just a little bit better with independents. He doesn't totally alienate the deep red Trump counties, and that's enough to put him over the top. Healey is going to get out enough progressives, but depending on how she postures herself, she's going to fall just short of what she would need in the suburbs. So there's some different routes you could take with this. It's not an easy matchup to do because these are not the two most well-known governors out there. Healey still needs time to build her track record, and I'm sure most people have never even heard of Mark Gordon. So maybe you know more about these two. You've looked in depth on where they stand on the issues. Maybe that ends up holding up. Maybe they change how they would run their campaigns. Tough to say, but this is the map that I settled on. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about this matchup? Do you think Gordon would come out with the win, or would Healey have the right messaging to come out on top? Let me know down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video.